What's up, guys? Welcome to the final stream of this month. This month has been a really interesting month. I've had really interesting people on. Sorry, I'm just so nervous and excited at the same time. It's like a weird mixture of emotions, and I can't tell you. I can't just explain how I feel right now, but I'm really excited. Anyways, if you are just coming to this stream for the first time, this is the ROJ the GOAT channel, and on this channel I talk about motion design with the most amazing minds in the world, and I also create random videos about different topics of motion design. And if this is not your first time and you've been coming and you are a fan and you're a friend of the stream, yes, the stream finally has good audio. Yes, this is a good mic. It took a long time for it to get here. And shout out to my mom for contributing. I know we had a lot of arguments about this mic, and she was like, don't get it, it's too expensive. And I was like, nah, I need good quality, but thank God. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna stop there. Enough about me. Today's stream is special because we have a special person with us. She is the queen, she is the legend, she is every cool name I can think of. She is also the only verified account following me on Twitter. And now I have bragging rights about a verified account following me. She is the legend, the one and only CADIEUX. I'm just going to do the transition so we can see you. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Yeah, I wish there was like this. There was like a button I could click that you just hear people screaming, "Oh, CADIEUX is here!"
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. I wish
happen.
I wish I thought about that earlier. I'll just set it up. How are you doing, Caitlin?
Hello. I'm good. Thank you for the really, really super exceedingly nice intro. How are you doing?
I am fine. I am very nervous. I think you felt that a little bit before we went live. I was
I
literally
feel
shaking.
it's relatable.
Yeah.
I get nervous too very easily. People say it doesn't show. I don't know. I can't tell that you're nervous, really.
For real?
Except that you keep telling me, but
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, I think when I start to talk too
own it.
much, that's when I'm nervous because I'm figuring out what words to say and figuring out, okay, should I be like this? Should I be cool? Should I sound like this? But to be honest, I'm extremely nervous and excited. I think it's mostly more excitement. You can tell by the fact that I'm talking a lot. So I'm just going to calm down. Okay, so
It's good. It's good energy.
yeah, let's just get right into the video. Let me start by giving you a proper intro and telling people who you are. Caitlin is an amazing motion designer. I think the intro already said that. She has been doing motion for some years now. She would be able to tell us how long she has been doing it, and she has worked with really amazing minds. She used to work at The Atlantic, and now she works at Vox Media and Netflix Explained. First of all, I would like to say that it is one of my dream jobs to work at Vox, and I'm super impressed. And like, I think of you as like this lady works at Vox, and like I've always wanted to work at Vox. I've always admired Vox. My entire channel, the way I structure my video, is based on Vox. So like, I'm feeling really starstruck right now. Well, I know someone that works at Vox. Like, finally, this is like a check mark I've ticked. Yeah, so like,
But it's funny. I haven't been there that long, really, just since I think October last year, or like the end of October last year.
wow.
It feels super fresh to me, even though I guess it is already the end of March, which is like really intense.
I get you. But how is the
But it is
experience at
cool.
Vox?
I think it's been really cool. It's funny because like nothing that I've worked on so far is up yet, so you can't. But like you can see the other seasons of the show. It's like Netflix Explained is the name of the show, and it is really good. Just I haven't worked on anything that's been up yet, but the last thing I think that went up was a series about voting in America, and it was like right before the U.S. presidential election last year. But one of my former coworkers at The Atlantic, and like who I work with now, Jackie Lay, who's also really awesome, she she worked on that, and it's really cool. And obviously the design is really good.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend checking it out, and all the other stuff that they've done so far. It is really cool.
Like, I haven't finished watching the Netflix Explained series. I've kind of been procrastinating because Netflix is a procrastination engine to me. You just go on there
Yeah.
and you have like a million things to watch at once. And so like I've only watched like a few
Yeah.
episodes and I need to catch up on the Netflix Explained series. Would be really nice.
Well, I like it that it like is about a bunch of different stuff. So there are definitely episodes I still haven't seen. But it's cool because you can just like pick whichever
You
one seems interesting to you.
yep.
And they're like totally different. I mean, there's one that's like about pirates.
Yeah.
And then there's like, yeah, stuff about voting, or they have like a series about like how the mind works and just like it's all over
I
the
think I've
place, but
seen
in
the
a really
mind
good
one,
way.
but it was really, really weird
Yeah.
because I just had it playing before I was like, when I am about to go to bed, like hours before I go to bed, I watched like 3 or 4 hours of Netflix without knowing. So I just played it and accidentally watched the entire season, but I slept through it all. So the only episode actually remember watching is like the mind one, and it was so cool.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff in that.
Yep, and it's really nice to see something that you do get like go up would be really nice. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Enough about Netflix and Vox and the amazing people there. Can you tell us how you became a motion designer? This is like story time, and I'm going to mute myself so you can tell us.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Try not to keep it too long. I don't know. Well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be like a Disney animator. So that's like where it kind of started for me. Obviously, I'm not doing that now, but like that's when I like love Disney movies and like animated films and stuff like that. I actually have a podcast about that maybe I'll talk about later.
Yep, the
Um,
podcast.
yeah, but that was like my first obsession was that kind of stuff, like character stuff and like drawing and illustration and that kind of thing. And when I got older, honestly, I wanted to go to SCAD, which is like the Savannah College of Art and Design. It's in Georgia here in the States, and it is super duper expensive. It's like a private college and a private art school, really, really expensive. And
The best of the
I
best
just
came
didn't
from
want
there.
to do it.
Sorry to cut your story. I was saying like the best
Oh
of
no,
the
no, no.
best motion designers came from SCAD. And
Yeah, yeah.
this guy Austin Shaw used to teach at SCAD. Yep,
Yeah,
it was really cool. I mean, it's a really cool school.
it's a really cool school. And that's like why so I didn't end up going because it was way too expensive, but I visited the campus once and when I was in college. So like I wasn't looking, but it's just like they got all this cool stuff in there. Like it was just a really cool space. So whatever, like in a different universe, if I had a bunch of money, like I would have loved to go there. And the motion design program there does seem awesome. Like I've seen some really cool stuff from people that came out of SCAD, but
Yeah,
I just couldn't afford it. I didn't want to, like take on a bunch of student loans for that. I'm really risk averse in that way. So like I didn't do that. And I ended up going to state school. So I grew up in Oklahoma. And so I went to the University of Oklahoma. It was like really close to home. Kind of easier,
mm,
easier transition. Like I didn't actually lived at home for like my first year. So I like didn't even move out of my parents' house, for the first year. And I just did graphic design because they didn't have any animation, anything there. And I didn't really want to do like the film side of stuff. I still don't really have a lot of experience with cameras or anything like that. So I didn't do that. And I went into graphic design. And then by the time I graduated, I knew about motion design and I was like, oh, like I can still be an animator. Because when I started school, it was like not a thing. I mean, people were doing motion design, obviously,
yeah.
but like I started college in 2009, I think, and it like people weren't really talking about it. And then like halfway through my program, my professor was like, "Oh, we're gonna like do an After Effects project," and
Yeah.
I was like, "I have no idea what that is. Like, I don't know anything about." It. And then that's how I started to learn about that. And I got kind of lucky because somebody that went through that same graphic design program at OU was working as a motion designer and he lived in LA and he was like a freelance motion designer, but he came to Oklahoma my junior year and was hiring an intern for the summer. So I went to LA for the summer and just helped him with projects and he basically taught me like all the basics, because like we didn't really have like any online motion design stuff either. I mean, again, there's some like YouTube channels and stuff, but like there wasn't any like schooling or like big classes you could really take at that point.
Yeah.
So and even like my program, since it was graphic design, like they knew about After Effects, but like nobody really knew how to use it.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm like so stressed by thinking about like the first projects I did in After Effects, and I like had no idea how it worked. And I was like doing like frame by frame drawings of everything because I didn't know how to like literally
You
do
know, I would love to
anything.
see your first work in After Effects. Like, I don't get to see people's first work.
Uh, oh my God. I'll send you a link after this probably. I don't think I have my very first projects, but I have some college projects and they're like so basic compared to I don't know. I mean, that's student work, I guess. Like everybody, you gotta start somewhere. Everybody has that. You just get better. Like I remember Justin Young was the name of the guy that like gave me my internship in LA and he taught me how to animate masks because I didn't know you could do that yet. And it was like a total game changer for me. So that was really helpful. And then when I graduated, I got a job at OU, like at my college in the, I don't even know how you, it was called the webcom department, but it was kind of like just like advertising for school. And then people in that department also did like websites for the school and stuff like that. And so we had like a little video team in the webcom department that
Yeah.
was like, we would just do promos for the university. And it was like different stuff, like anything that they wanted to, if they wanted to make a video that was going to like run on TVs or on campus, like we would do stuff like that, or things that would go on university websites to be like, you should take like these like gen ed courses or like really good for anybody like
Yeah.
in any program, whatever. Like, and we'd make videos, so like some like, typography videos and different things. And I did that for a year, and I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know. I feel like all of this is like super rambly, but like I just had no idea, like no goals really, no like concrete directions. I wanted to move to California. That was the one thing I knew. I was like, I'm gonna move to California and like live in LA and like work at some kind of like doing title sequences,
Yeah.
like animated title sequence. Never did that. Never did any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I ended up moving to New York, not New York City, but like New York State. So like kind of in the middle of nowhere with my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. And he was going to grad school here. And I was just like, okay, like I'll go. Like it's New York. That should
Yeah.
be interesting. And I like freelanced and I got a job at the local news station here, which is like very unexciting. And it wasn't, I did basically nothing all day. Like I just sat at a desk and had to do like 2 photo edits a day. Like it was nothing. So I used to bring my laptop into work and just like work on motion design stuff in not like freelance jobs, but just like personal projects and like trying to learn character animation and different stuff because I just had all this time. So I might as well. And after about a year of working there, like almost a year, I was lucky enough to the Atlantic reached out to me because their designer was leaving, or their motion designer, and so they were hiring somebody else. And I interviewed for that job, and I had to move to New York City to take that job. So like I moved out from like my left my boyfriend here, like went to New York City for
Yeah.
about a year to take that job. But it was like that was like my first real job. I felt like that was the moment where I was like, okay, like I'm doing motion design now and like I have a little bit of a direction.
Did you enjoy
But it is
it?
funny because oh sorry, go
I was
ahead.
saying, like, did you enjoy the job?
Yeah, I really did. There were things about it I didn't like because like this is something that's like weird to talk about. Like in motion design, there's so many different kinds of motion graphics, and like editorial motion design has its own like it's the schedules are like this way, and the types of projects that you're working on are like this way. So there were things that I wasn't expecting, I guess, because you're working in journalism.
Yep.
I don't have any background in journalism. So there are things that are tough about it, I guess. I won't say I don't like it. It's like the turnaround times are really fast. I guess that goes for everything, but
Yeah.
I would be making like 3-minute videos and you usually have like 2 weeks to make it from start to finish, which is really hard if you're trying to make something that is like really, really good and it's going to be changing like while you're working on it. That's another thing that like in documentary and like video journalism, they change things a lot up until the last minute, because you can do that when you're video editing. You like swap this out and like put that in and like change the soundbite and whatever, but it's a lot harder to do for motion design, so you're like kind of like having to like keep everybody on track and be like, if you want to change this thing, like it's going to take me like 2 days, like I can't do it right now,
Because it requires you redesigning the frame and organizing it for their change.
Yeah, like reanimating. Like there were definitely times where you just need to be like as upfront and clear about like this is what is possible in the time period that we have, because I would give a video like a rough cut of this video. We got like a week left on it or something, and I would show it to the producers and they would be like, "Oh, you should animate this part." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm working." I'm like, "I promise you I'm going to."
Yeah.
I just like haven't gotten to it yet, so it's just like kind of an interesting challenge, and you basically just want to make it as awesome as you can in the time that you have, knowing that you're probably going to be juggling a lot of stuff all the way up till the end. So it's kind of challenging. I think I've grown to like that. It was really stressful sometimes at the Atlantic, but it also sometimes some of my best like videos, my favorite videos came in that like pressure cooker situation where it's like you got to get this done right now. Like I did one video about Russian hacking that was like supposed to go with a cover story. So like an article in the magazine was all about Russian hacking. And then we took the same author of that article, Julia Yaffe, and she did the voiceover for this. It's like just a condensed version of the article for an animated video. And they were like, well, we want the video to go up at the same time as a cover story. So you have like you have a week. And I was like, I have nothing. And I churned it out and it was kind of horrible. Like I worked basically like 24 hours a day for like 7 or 8 days to get that thing done. And it was brutal. And at the end I was like, what can we do to like not have that happen again? Because it was like too much. But that video came out really well, I think. So
I'm going to go look for that video after this call. Like after this.
Yeah, it's on my website, I think, still.
Oh, you like it so much you put it on your website. That's so nice.
Yeah, I like that one. That one was good. I got a few other ones that I like on there. I don't know. I got to do a lot of cool stuff, I think, is like what I like about that type of work also is that it's not advertising, which is not a bad thing. Like advertising is not a bad thing, but I like that like every project that I would work there or that I work on editorial stuff is always like very different. And it's usually like educational in some way.
That makes sense.
Like one of the other ones I got to do was about like the extinction of the dinosaurs. And I'm like, well, this is really fun. Like I get to animate dinosaurs. I get to learn about, you know, how like what people think happened, whatever, like particular scientific things. And then again, yeah, like one can be like totally different and like very political. And then I still feel like I'm learning something as I'm communicating this to like the greater audience or whatever.
Yep, I think that was like a really fun intro to it. How you got into motion design. It sounds like you've had a lot of fun over the years. I think one thing I would say is one thing that is the same in our story is that I loved cartoons like a lot. And we should definitely talk about your podcast. I'm just going to really shoot my shot here and just move. Sorry, I'm just going to use this opportunity to shoot my shot and take a shot. If you are ever going to do a Samurai Jack episode, please, I want to be part of it. Because I really love Samurai Jack. And it's one of like cartoons I stayed up all night to watch every single night because I really loved that cartoon. Like I thought I was going to be a cartoonist because I love drawing but no, I'm not a cartoonist. I'm a motion designer, which is like the next best thing. And I think
100%.
Yeah, I think you're also like motion design is also the next best thing for you because like you loved cartoons, you love Disney princesses. But from your podcast, I can tell that you're not the princessy type.
No, that's so true. You're correct.
Yeah.
But I do love Disney princesses.
I mean, they're so cool.
So.
They're weird, but cool. The concept is so weird.
Yes. It is really weird, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. But it's funny how Disney adapts like dark stories and make it into like this sunshine Disney princess type story. And the real stories are like really, really dark and like really, really scary and stuff.
Yeah, like gruesome. Yeah.
And it's like so pretty in the movies. Well, that's Disney. That they are really good at that. Anyways, enough about Disney. From your experience, it has really said, like when I talk to you, you sound like the most happy motion designer in the world to me. Like I'm just gonna say, I've never heard someone be as excited about what you do, like what they do as you. Even though I'm not as excited about motion design as you, though I'm really excited about motion and I scream about it all the time. But you're like on another level. So like, what keeps you going right now? Like,
That's such
what's
a
your secret?
good question. Well, and it's funny because like I don't know, I guess I don't feel like I can be very grouchy. Like I can, or I can get very sad, like depressed about stuff. I don't know. I guess it's just because I like it, doing it so much that at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just very grateful.
Yep.
Like sometimes I will get kind of bummed out because, well, again, like you said, it like is exactly right that when I was a kid, I'm like, well, I want to work in like feature film and like do all this stuff, and like it's never happened, and like realistically, that probably will never happen for me, and like maybe it does, and that's
Yep.
awesome. Whatever, I'm not like dismissing it. It's just like that's really hard to get into. It's like very competitive. There's so many talented people. Like there's only so many opportunities. All these reasons, like whatever. And I did motion design because like I just, I took the available opportunities to me, trying to like still do what I want to do.
Yep.
And just like, anytime that I had the chance to do that, I would say yes. And so it worked out. So at the end of the day, I guess I just feel grateful that I'm doing anything like it. Like I have a lot to be grateful for. And like I don't, it's like life is hard, so if I get to like spend some of my time like drawing storyboards, which is something I just really enjoy, just sitting down and doing, like that's really cool. I'm like, not
You're actually the
everybody
first person I would
gets to do
say
that.
that I would hear say that you enjoy drawing storyboards. I definitely
I love drawing
don't enjoy
storyboards.
doing storyboards. I enjoy doing style frames, but storyboards are like, oh god, now I have to figure out how this composition is going to go. But then it's
Yeah, actually, well, no, that's funny you say that too, because like when I was first starting at the Atlantic, I really struggled with storyboards. And like I feel like I felt that same way. And it's just like over the years I got better at it
yeah.
from like really trying, like really just like being like, I need to get better at the composition. Composition is something I always struggled with. Like I'm always making things like way too big in the frame for
I
like
think we can all
whatever,
relate
and I,
with that.
yeah, I was like, why do I do this? But like I do every time. It's always like way too big and like kind of weird. And then I would get feedback on that, and I'm like, okay, like I need to focus on this specific thing because it's obviously something that I just keep doing and like gravitate to, and I need more practice.
Yep.
And then just like after a couple of years of that, it became fun. So maybe the secret is to just force yourself to do it. I didn't.
Force is
We
a
talked about
strong
this a
word.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't say that. It's like just like tackling your challenges head on, maybe. Because like you and I were chatting about drawing on Instagram a while back, and I was saying that I was really enjoying. Like I spent most of last year drawing people every day, like every morning for like an hour or even like half an hour or whatever. Because I was terrified of doing it. Like I always hated drawing people, and like when I used to draw a lot in high school and college, like I always avoided it, except for in class, like we had to do it sometimes, but like it was stressful to me because I never liked how it came out. I feel like I didn't get it. It felt like a little too challenging for me. And so just like last year, I was like, no, like I'm gonna do this. And like I know it's gonna look ugly. So I just need to like not worry about it and just like try to enjoy it. And by the time I was done, like after like about a year, and I just sort of naturally like wound down from doing
Yep.
that, I was a lot better at it. Like I'm legitimately so pleased with my pro. There's always like way more to learn, but like was really like holy cow, like I have made a lot of progress in this time. And also I've like learned to like it, like in ways that I didn't expect, which is kind of hard to
I think my
articulate.
problem
Like
is I
why do
haven't
I like
learned. I have not learned to like my work yet. Like, I don't know if you've seen this Ira Glass video about imposter syndrome. So like, there's like
yeah,
you, there's like where you want to be, and there's like this big gap. That is how my drawing skill is like right now. I want to be like
yeah.
Marvel. I want to draw like dynamic poses. And that's just not me, to be like realistically, that's just not me. I can't do the most dynamic poses. I can't do the most realistic faces. What I'm really amazing at is doing portraits. But I don't like doing portraits.
Really?
Doing portraits is like,
Yeah.
oh, Now I have to figure out. I have to like draw this picture, do the portrait, make it look real, make it, and it takes time and it's annoying and I don't like it. But I spent so much time learning how
Yeah.
to do it and I got good at it. But like I want to get good at drawing dynamic poses and like there's like this big gap, and I don't think I haven't really loved the fact that my work is not that great, or I've not really embraced it well enough. So I end up not drawing for a long time. Like I end up not drawing for like a while. I feel like that could have happened to me as a motion designer. It probably has happened to a lot of people because motion design is really more difficult to get right. Like,
Yeah.
and the barrier to entry is so high. Like your work, the first set of work can never be amazing, except you watch a tutorial or two. But realistically, even if you watch a tutorial, you still do crap. Unfortunately, that sounds so dark and so cold, but it's just the truth. Like I can go look up my first piece of motion and it's pure crap. Like it's garbage.
Well, I'm right there with you, like I was saying earlier, like definitely I think the first thing I ever made didn't survive, but it was like a fake face like iPhone
Hmm.
app for like emergency because it was a very like graphic design project, but I was trying to do animated parts of it and it just was complete nonsense. Like it just didn't look like anything. It was not good. And I think it's buried forever. And like, yeah, I did um a typography video for a song, and that was like an early. That's what I think is still on the internet. I'll try to send it
I'm
to
going to.
you after this, but it's just so basic, and I'm just like not really. I don't know, but you know, another thing too is that you'll always feel that way about your stuff.
I
I
think that's what
think
I'm
that is
realizing
my
now.
theory. Yeah, it never really gets better, but you will like after you spend enough time, then you look back and you're like, this sucks, like, and I did a bad job or whatever. And I think that's a good thing, like in a weird way. Like that's the sign that you're actually getting better, is when you look back and you can see the stuff that you would change and stuff. I don't know. Like I used to feel really bad about that, but just the longer I've gone on, I'm like, well, it's cool that I got to do this in the first place. And also like dang, like if I would do this better and I would change this and I would change that, whatever, like that means I'm better now. Like that means
That
I
is
know
so
stuff
cool.
now that I didn't know back then. And it like feels good.
Okay, I think I figured out the
I
answer
don't,
to the question. What keeps you going? I think what keeps you going is because you've embraced the struggle, I guess.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
unavoidable.
That is a really cold answer to the question. When I mean cold, like a straightforward answer to the question. Maybe we should not do this stream again and maybe end it here. I'm just joking.
Wow.
Okay, let's go to the next question, which is how do you stay connected to your passion? Like it's really easy to like I noticed that your like podcast is a way you're staying connected to your passion for cartoons. Honestly, would love to be a part of it. I'm shooting my shot again. Samurai Jack episode. So,
Yeah, man, you'll be the first to know. Oh, yeah, a couple people have asked about that.
cause it's so cool. Like, it's like, why you not doing a Samurai Jack episode? Have you seen like if you got the CDs, if you got it from Amazon, I'm not sure, but there's like this extra bonus clips where they show you how the show was made and the creator
I would love to see
is
that.
so cool, and the guy who voiced like Aku, like
Uh-huh.
have you seen Avatar?
Yeah.
You know Uncle Iroh, the same guy voiced Aku.
That guy's a legend. Yeah. Yeah, that guy's a freaking
So
legend,
like
legitimately.
he is a
Yeah.
legend and it's really so cool. So
I know, he's awesome.
I would love to. I want to rewatch the Avatar, like the entire season. I have it on my on my uncle's hard drive. I'm just going to rewatch Avatar, and I also have Samurai Jacks. I'm going to rewatch both of them because they are just so two amazing cartoons that made my childhood really
Yeah.
great. Anyways, moving.
You're making I'm gonna rewatch Samurai Jack like now basically because of just like I was talking about it and a couple people have asked me and like I loved it and I still do. Like I love the design of that is really
Yep.
influential on me. Like just the shape, how they do the shapes and like the background painting and like all the character design is just like so freaking cool. But it's been a long time since I've seen it. Although I watched they did like the last season or like the final
Yep.
season, but it came out like a couple of years ago. I did
It
watch
came out
that when it
around
was on.
20, I think 2018, 2017, the last season, where they had to finish it. But I think
So
they
long ago, it
ruined
feels like.
it at the last season.
I didn't like how it
Yeah, it
ended.
was so mean. The ending was so mean, and they made it adulty.
Yeah.
Like even the first three season was like, oh my god, this is for kids, and like I'm not
Yeah.
there's no like we're making it for kids, and the last season is like, okay, those kids have become adults. Excuse me, when you guys launched it, I was still a kid. I was still below 18. I couldn't watch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I will say I really loved the first like 2 or 3 episodes of that last season, and then the rest I didn't like. But it's been a while again since I've seen it, and I don't remember why, but like I feel like it started out really cool, and then I didn't like how it ended. Um,
I think I
but
think but the one thing I really like about it is the fact that they kept the story structure and they kept everything flowing and it felt like a whole
yeah,
story and it felt like, okay, this isn't just this isn't like two different directors' direction, like the garbage that is Justice League. this is, this is actual, this is like where the story was always supposed to go, and they put so much work into the direction, into the visual style, and they kept the aesthetic and it looked amazing. And the funny thing is, the guy who directed it also worked on a couple of cartoons like Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory. So you would see the same aesthetic across all
yeah,
those shows. But the Samurai Jack just took that aesthetic to like the max, and it was just amazing.
yeah. It was like beautiful. Like Dexter's Lab, I also love, and I feel like that show holds up really well and is still like really
Oh
funny.
my god! Throwback to the time there was
But it
amazing
was
cartoon.
Yeah, it's so good. Honestly, my dad thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And he was right. It is really funny. Like my dad loved that show. But it's like cute and like but like
It's like
Samurai Jack is like
relatable.
legitimately
I've
beautiful.
Dexter's Laboratory is
Yeah,
like relate.
right?
If you have siblings, you're like, oh my god, my annoying sister. For me, luckily, I have like an annoying younger sister, and she troubles me every time. So it's like, this is literally my life. I'm just a boy genius inside this room, inside my lab, and then my annoying sister comes to mess it up for me. That's the
That's so
story.
fun. I don't have any brothers. I just have a sister and we're like I don't know, we were kind of the same. So I feel like we got along really well.
Yeah.
You
Sorry.
didn't have that, but I still
Okay,
liked
so
it.
like we went from the question, which is how do you stay connected to your passion?
Oh, right,
How
right,
do you
right.
stay connected? Like, how
Well,
as a motion designer, how do I stay connected to my passion, and how are you doing it for yourself?
that's a great question. I will say, like, there have definitely been times where I didn't feel connected to it. Maybe I'm just like over that hump a little bit, and that's why I kind of seem like in a better mood about
Yep.
it a lot of the time. But I get it's like I just try to make a lot of time for what I want to do. Like I have been spending a lot more time drawing recently, which we talked about, but like I realized last year that I actually just really like it. And I think that sounds kind of dumb maybe, but like I think I just didn't realize like how it actually makes me happier as a person like all the time if I make time for drawing. I used to just think, oh, I like this and I like spending time on it. But when I was doing it every day, I was like, oh man, like I actually like feel really good when I'm doing this every
Yep.
day and it makes me feel better. And it that I also was like, I'm not doing this for anybody else. And that's really hard. That's like a super hard thing to do in motion design and art stuff is like I always like all of my 20s, I was like, you got to make stuff because like you want to like get people's attention so they'll like hire you and so like it looks like you know what you're doing and you know how to make this thing whatever and I think that's like important but it also like really burns you out so I think everybody kind of has to do that because otherwise like you don't have a portfolio or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have to make it but then like later I'm a lot more comfortable to be like, I just want to sit down and like draw a Pokemon or whatever.
Yo. Yeah.
And it's just for me. And I don't care like if anybody sees it and is like, this is so amazing. Like you're hired to work on Pokemon, although that'd be really cool. That'd be so cool if it happened.
Yep.
But
That would be so nice.
it just like, yeah, making time for the stuff that you actually really like that just like makes you feel good. I don't know. Like it's the same reason why I watch old cartoons and stuff is because like it just reminds me of like when you're a kid you can just like the stuff you like and it doesn't matter why or what and like if you can spend time on stuff that makes you feel that way it just makes you a little bit more like stable I guess like as a person I don't know it's easy to forget and if you like motion design a lot and then it's your job, well, then it's your job. And then it can be like kind of sucky
Yeah.
because there's all this work stuff related to it, right? But then I have to remember, like, well, I didn't get into motion design just because I wanted a job. I mean, that's true. Like, I want a job, but I got into it because I like XYZ thing. Like, I like to draw and I like to animate, whatever. So if I can spend time on that in my own personal time that's just for me, I'll still feel good about it.
That makes sense. So like the next question is supposed to be, so it's your passion, you're connected to it. Is it supposed to make you happy, or is it supposed to like give you money? Because you talked about the fact that it's your job, and yeah, I mean you're not doing it because you want a job. Like, I'm not doing this because I want a job. I actually do it because I enjoy it. Though like the fact
Yeah.
that it's your job changes how you work, handle it, and how you work on it. So like, are you supposed to do it because it's your job, or are you supposed to do it because it makes you happy?
That's a tough question. But like I wish I could say that you're supposed to do it because it makes you happy, but like I don't think that that's really
Mm,
true. It's a weird thing, but I mean, like I've had to work on stuff or like work in places that I didn't really want to because like I needed money to live. Um, and so I think that's like the truth of what a job is at the end of the day. And there's
fair.
also something you learn when you're working on stuff that like this is something I don't like about motion design that we do a lot. And it's just like getting a little too distracted by like how cool it can be or like how awesome it is. And I think it makes it easy to forget that it is a job, but like a studio that works on like really cool stuff, you can find out later that like that's like 1% of the projects that they do and like everything else that they do is really like boring or like
Yeah.
not cool, but like that's where the money comes
Yeah.
from. And so especially like when I was like this, I was just like so enchanted by all these big studios that were doing like awesome stuff, like doing like the Iron Man titles and like stuff
I
like
think
that
I'm
I thought
still
was so
enchanted
cool.
by it. Like, I can't stop looking at
Totally.
Man vs. Machine and Tendro and Buck. Those, you guys should hire me,
Yeah.
please.
And you should. I mean, honestly, like you should, and I totally get that. And I still feel that way about a lot of stuff. But I think it's just knowing, like, if you work at a studio like that, it's gonna feel like work a lot of the
Mm,
time anyway, or like you won't always get to like make the cool thing. And I think something that's made me happier in a work context is like knowing I'm there to make other people happy, kind of. Like I'm not there to like make whatever, it's like my vision on something that is important and it's good for you to have one. But since you're like designing for somebody, somebody's going to be like saying yes or no to that. Keeping that in mind like makes it a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful. And if anything, it almost makes it more fun. Like I've worked on stuff where the client, like the project details are like ugly to me.
yeah.
You know, like maybe the client is like, here's all your references, and it's like not cool looking stuff or like not stuff that I would think is well designed, but it can be fun to make something that they're happy with. Even if it's not like what you personally would like sit down and design that you think is good, it's almost kind of like fun to do that sometimes to be like, I can make something that looks exactly like what you want, even though like I don't like it or whatever, like I know you're happy with it. And I feel like that's what the job actually is a lot of the time, and people don't talk about that as much.
It's not about
Uh,
making yourself happy. It's not about creating the most amazing, the most cool work. I I definitely
yeah,
think it's about making the most cool work. Like, I want to make the most cool work. But it's also about making the client happy, making the person you're doing
yeah,
it for happy. So like, what I'm hearing is that this all boils down to why you're doing it in the first place. And we all totally have different reasons for doing what we do, I think. So how do you figure out why you're doing this in the first place? I mean, the reason cannot be because it's your passion or because you like it. I tried doing portraits, and I tried like taking commissions for portrait and like drawing people, and I did not enjoy it, and it totally ruined it for me.
yeah,
It made the fact that I already hate portrait. I already hate the fact that I'm copying something. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm copying something. So even worse in that feeling for me. So like, how do you figure out why you're doing what you're doing? It sounds like a really, really
mm,
weird, complicated question, but I think it's an important one.
Yeah. I don't know because, well, this is semi-related, I guess, but I will say, like, I know I would feel the same way about doing drawings, like how you were describing just
Yeah.
now. Like, I don't want to do drawings that, like, I don't want somebody to email me and be like, hey, can you draw this for like this much money, whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. It makes the drawing not fun.
Exactly.
But there's something about, yeah, like I don't, and I've realized like that made me not draw for a while because I don't like the idea of that, and it like becomes too stressful. So I don't think I could do that. I don't know. I guess it depends. Because I'd love to do more illustration stuff, but I don't really know. But I do think it's like the work itself is not why I enjoy doing what I'm doing and like do what I'm doing, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, I love making stuff that looks cool, but I don't know, what like gets me through the day is like it's engaging for me. I get to like solve problems. Like I really like solving technical problems in After Effects and like setting up templates and like using essential properties is like very satisfying to me and like nobody sees that but me, right? But like I
I'm
am
definitely going to
satisfied when I
DM
set up
you
a
anytime I
file.
have an After Effects problem. Caitlin, please help me solve this After Effects problem because
Yeah, I mean, feel free. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'll definitely
yeah,
try because it is fun. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like,
that was
I
a
just,
complicated question. It's like, why do you exist in the first place?
yeah.
I don't think there's a specific
Well,
answer
and
to it,
honestly,
to be honest.
it has to change. I think it changes too over
Yep.
time. Like, depending on what you're doing in life, like, I don't know. And well, it's funny too because like at least I ended up at Vox because like they asked me to help on the voting thing, and I did. I had other stuff going on. I couldn't take that. But then they asked me. They came back and were like, would you like join the team to work on season 3? And I was like,
Definitely.
sure. Like so, it was just kind of a thing where I didn't like. I didn't seek it out, if that makes
I wish
sense.
Vox
And
would
so a
call
lot
me
of what
and
I
ask me,
do,
Raj, can you do animation? And I'll be like, yes, sure. And I was also
well, I'll tell
casually,
you
even
what,
though I'm like freaking out in my
it didn't.
mind.
It didn't start that way.
I know I'm just messing around.
And it is cool, but yeah, like a lot of it again, like I said, is like I just like I know what I
Mm-hmm.
like. I know what I would like to spend my time doing. So I try to spend my time on that, and then when opportunities come up that are like, hey, this is like a job opportunity where you can, kind of still spend time the way that you generally like to do it, I'll just say yes, and I just sort of like chase that.
That
Because
makes
I have
sense.
found that expending a lot of energy on like I don't know. I don't think it would have made me happy if I'd like moved to LA and been like emailing Disney all the time, being like, hire me, hire me, hire me. I don't
Yeah.
think it would have been satisfying. It's more stressful. And I mean, people do that and it probably works. I don't really know, but like, it just didn't feel like the right expenditure of energy for me. I'd prefer to not invest so much in like specific plans.
So has
I
Disney
like
called you
to
yet?
No, and if they did, I mean, it'd be nice if they did. They're welcome to do so. Haven't heard from them yet.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. TBD.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe
done
that'll be
messing
the
around.
next one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at the next question. This is a really, really weird conversation about, passion and why should I be doing the things I'm doing? Is this thing supposed to make me happy? Like, how do I stay connected to what I'm doing? I definitely have been kind of disconnected a little bit. Like, I'm someone who has rebooted my career many, many times before, before now. And this is like another version of my career that no one has an idea how many times I've rebooted. I've definitely gone online, deleted all my posts, all my entire portfolio, and just been like, okay, I'm a new person now. I'm a motion designer now. All my graphic design clients can f themselves. Sorry. I definitely did that in 2018, and I've rebooted my clients many times, and the passion has changed so many times. Like I was telling you how I did portraits and I took clients for portraits and I did not enjoy it and I stopped drawing for a while. And I was telling you, and yeah, I reboot. I don't know. I love drawing. I've always drawn since I was like since I could pick up a pen. That's when I could start. That's when I
Yeah.
started drawing. I can't remember exactly when, because I remember when I was growing up as a child, or as like a toddler or whatever age that is. like I wasn't like the smartest kid then, but then I could draw. And so like when every other kid is like learning A, B, C, D, I'm drawing humans and I'm drawing them three-dimensionally. Doesn't look good. Like it definitely doesn't look good. But then I understood the fact that human beings are not stick figures. There's form to them.
Right.
And when you're young, the way teachers drew us, the way kids drew, then we're like stick figures. I did not draw stick figures. I loved drawing. I take Super Striker covers, and I like Striker is this comic. I don't know if you heard of it, but like it's this comic we
Mm-mm.
have here, and they sell it in like the food store. Sorry, the restaurants. They sell them at restaurants and the supermarket. And I find Super Striker episodes, and I like kind of draw from the pages, and then I drew portraits, and then I got good at some point, but I couldn't really draw anything dynamic or do figure drawing because I never learned figure drawing, and I would love to learn figure drawing. But then I really love this thing. But then why did I feel the way I feel when I started getting clients? Like, how did I feel? Why did I feel like this is difficult? I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing this. And one of the things I was scared of when I was growing up was leaving drawing because I've heard stories about many adults who were like growing up. They were like me. They enjoyed drawing, and once they grew up, they grew out of it. And I didn't want that to be
Hmm.
me. But yeah, this is me. That is so me right now.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, I still have plenty of time
So
to get.
much time. And I think it's normal too. Okay, well, like something else too that is like tangential to what you're saying is that like I think it's normal to change a lot of what you're gonna do because like I have done 3D work in motion
I
graphics
think
and I even yeah, there's not like that much because I never had that much
I've seen the
time to do
top.
it either. Like, yeah, I've done a little bit of stuff and like I like it a lot actually. And like there was probably a point where I could have done 3D like full time, like way more. Like I obviously do a ton of 2D stuff and like
Yep, yep.
illustrating stuff, but like I always liked 3D and I always tried to learn it. And like one of the reasons that I don't do a lot of that now is because I clearly prefer 2D stuff. But the other side is that like it just didn't work out and I just didn't like I don't get jobs that are because I didn't go that way. Like, you know, if I am going to work at Vox, like they don't really do a lot of anything in 3D. It's just not something that my work calls for anymore, so I'm not spending time on it. But it's like if you went back into my history, there were like times in my life where that was the only thing I was thinking about and doing. So some of it
Mhm.
just like comes and goes. And like, I don't know, maybe in 5 years I'll be like working in a lot of 3D stuff again, but maybe not. Who knows?
I think it would be
But like
nice.
the cool, yeah, like I'd love to keep. I really love like 2D style 3D. I always have. And like sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'll learn Blender or whatever. I don't know. Who knows?
If
Like
you ever
maybe
want to learn
someday.
Blender, just reach out to me. Don't reach out to anyone else. Like Blender for motion. That's my thing. Like I love Blender.
Okay.
Like most of my work is done. Like my last four projects are done in Blender. We're done in Blender,
Yeah,
right? And it's so cool. So if you want to learn Blender,
that's
just reach
awesome.
out to me. Anyways,
Yeah, it does look. It looks really cool. I see really cool stuff done and like 2D stuff done in Blender that looks really
yep.
awesome. But yeah, it's just like I think it's just you do whatever's in front of you. You like take the opportunities that show up and you can always come back to something too. So like drawing is that way. And I think it's normal to kind of burn out on it or like want to take a long break. And like just like you, like there have been times where I have gone without drawing for a really long time. But I love it. I'm still doing it and
You
I'm
know,
doing it so much
my fear
more
is it not
now.
happening to me like as a motion designer. This is my identity right now, personally, and I wouldn't want that to
Mhm.
be me. And I'm about to take on a new identity as like a
Okay.
writer and all, because I'm learning how to write books. Shout out to my future books. I that don't have titles right now, but they're definitely in work in the process of making them. But like, I don't want to lose the identity as a motion designer. I definitely love this, and my fear is that okay, am I supposed to be making money from this, or is it supposed to make me happy? Or in the near future, when I start making money for this, will I leave this? Will I go and do something else? Will I don't know, will I reboot my career again? Will I delete my entire portfolio? Even though I feel like this would be like this particular level I've gotten is going to be the most difficult to delete. Every other one was like
Yeah.
nobody knows you. It was just pretty easy to like delete everything and just go with the flow and nobody really cares. But this is so difficult to delete because I have so many.
Yeah.
I know so many people right now, and it's going to be really difficult to just disappear right now. But back then it was so easy. And will I have to reboot my
Yeah.
career again and position myself as a writer now? What was like? Do I need to change? Like, I don't want to change my passion again. I don't want to change what I'm doing. I don't want it to be like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm burning out of this, and I want to leave. I want an exit. Actually, yes, and I feel like that it could happen to a lot of us in this industry because there's so many negatives in this industry. There's so many pressure. Like for me, as
Yeah.
even as a Nigerian, it's 10 times harder because there's no industry here. I'm kind of starting from scratch. I'm trying to find clients, trying to find work, trying to pay for electricity, and I don't really use the power grid. I use like a generator, and I have to buy gas every day, and I have to pay for my internet that is crazy expensive. I spend almost 200 or $150 on internet every month, which is crazy because I use it
Yeah.
like as it comes in and I finish it and I have to buy more. And I don't know, like it's easier to burn out. And I don't know, is this supposed like the question, is this supposed to be, am I supposed to be making money from this? Am I supposed to like just do it because I want to make money, or am I supposed to do it because I'm happy with it? And to be honest, I'm not necessarily happy doing client work. I prefer doing all my life. I wish I was people where people are paying me to do what I love, which is like maybe short
Yeah.
films and just passion projects and maybe YouTube. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm living staying at home, sleeping, then I wake up, do a short film, release it. People pay me a lot of money, $69 million, and I'm back here, do it again, and people pay me a lot of money just for doing what I like. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just in the process of figuring it out, and I'm kind of feels like I'm ranting right now. But I feel like that is a lot of us in the industry because this industry is really
Mm.
hard. It's not easy, and from like yeah, I have to like feel it. Like I have to feel all the pressures that you guys are feeling over there. I have to feel it with the problem with our own society and our own system. I have to add couple that together and add it to it. And now I'm having identity crisis,
Yeah.
and I'm
No, I mean that is super tough.
yeah.
And I will say, so I guess this is the best answer to that question really is that like I don't do motion design because I think I'm gonna get paid super well. And like I get paid pretty well. Like I've made like fine money doing it, right? Like it's a good
Yeah.
career. And I'm like I don't have any complaints kind of a deal. But exactly for the reasons you're saying, it's like really hard. Like people don't really do it because they're like, oh, like what job could I take that will give me like the most amount of money for like not having to like work super hard? It's like
It's not
it's
even
not
about
motion
working
design,
super
right?
hard. It's
Because
like, do I really enjoy this? Like, what work would I do that
yeah,
I would feel fulfilled working on this, and I can keep like doing it. For me, I found out what I enjoy doing. For motion is pro bonus because literally the client has literally has no say over the outcome,
yeah,
and I get to control what comes out, and I'm doing it from like just to help the client, and they literally have no say about the outcome, and I really enjoy pro bonus. So just pick out the business and do pro
yeah.
bonus. But I mean, you don't get paid to do pro bonus.
No,
Yeah. So I wish someone could pay me to like invest in my company. I'm going to do pro bonus for like 10 businesses, and that's it. Like I would really love that kind of opportunity. So like how do you
yeah,
navigate all this? Like it's not necessarily about like the fewer work required to doing that job. It's more about, does this thing really make me happy? Do I feel fulfilled after doing
right.
this? Like after doing this, do I want to do it again? I definitely don't feel that with client work. Client work is super annoying. Like I definitely don't feel that. I feel like a lot of us
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. No, I mean that's totally
But then
true. And I think like well, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, I would love it if somebody would just like pay me money to like do what I want to do, but
yeah.
like the crappy thing about that is like it's probably never going to happen. For like the most people, it's probably not going to happen. And I think like I don't know, I'm very wary of situations where people are like, "Oh, this can definitely happen for you," because like nothing is that easy. you know, like that's really great. It's gonna happen like it's like a 1 in a million chance or
1 in a million.
whatever
That's
that
crazy.
people. And that's the thing. It's like I don't think it's worth aiming for that. I think it's more of like something that maybe happens to you if you're in the right place at the right time. You're really lucky, and you've like put in a lot of work, sure, but like it doesn't happen for most people. And like basically, I would just say like this is why I'm kind of like fine with everything. Is I do motion design enough that it like makes me happy. I don't love nobody loves like wakes up every morning being like, yeah, I love like work making what other people want to
Yeah.
make. But like then you get paid for it and like that feels good and I feel like I learned stuff. Like I just try again like to make as much time as I can for the stuff that I do want to be doing. And then if somebody ever does show up and be like, "Hey, I want to pay you to make art or whatever," great. Then I'll be able to say yes,
Yeah.
you know, because I've like spent a lot of time doing that. And I think that's like the best you can really do like on a day-to-day basis.
That makes sense. I think I'm worrying too much, probably.
Oh, you can't help that. I worry about everything all the time, honestly, too. Like that never goes away either.
Yeah. It just feels like
You can't help
it
it.
just feels like we're all figuring out things and we're just like all confused humans stuck in this weird world trying to figure out, okay, what are we supposed to now you okay, like God, you've thrown us inside this weird world with like millions of us, sorry, billions, 7 billion of us. Now what are we supposed to do now? Like what are we doing next? What's next?
Yeah.
And that's how it feels like every time.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. It is tough. So I don't know. That's again, like I try to make myself happy. I'm trying to like ride my bike every day.
I need a bike.
Bikes are really cool. I love my bike. I'm absolutely obsessed with my bike. And like, I'm so glad that the weather's getting nice. But like, that makes me happy, honestly. Like, that makes me a lot more happy than anything else.
Yep,
If that makes any sense.
it does.
Like, just being able to have time. I like my perfect situation, honestly, is to just have enough money that I have enough time to do stuff that I want. And that's really it. Because if you're working 24/7 all the time, you're just gonna be miserable anyway. Like there's no way to come out of that and like be happy all the time because like you'll be dead. Like you have to sleep, you have to
You said you'd be
eat, like
dead.
you have to like
That was
hang out with people, like you know, watch stuff that you want to watch, whatever. Like you can't be working all the
Do you know that is
time.
exactly my life right now? Like I don't leave this room. I haven't left this room in a while. I left this room like on Monday just so I could go to the studio and work on the sound with on the project I'm currently working on. But that's it. I don't think I'm going out for like the next 3 months. I'm definitely going to be in this room for the next 3 months, and that's my life. And I'm
Yeah.
miserable as F. My social life is dead. The only people I talk to are people that are like thousands of miles away from me or like in
Yeah.
another continent entirely, and that's my life right now. So like I would really like my social life to be back, and I would really like to to like maybe go out a little
I
bit,
totally,
be more.
yeah. I agree with that. I will say, like, there is no social life stuff happening here for sure. I just go for walks, like, around. I never see people. I don't know. I kind of get, it's not exactly the same, but I kind of get where you're coming from. Because, like, I sort of felt that way growing up in Oklahoma. There was no motion design and, like, nobody to talk to about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, really, in person a lot of the time. And then, I mean, I work remotely. I've worked remotely for years. So it's kind of the same thing, too, where, like, I don't ever see people here. Like, I don't go to an office or whatever. Like I'm in my room a
And I
lot
actually tried
too.
working at an office and I hated it.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't like office.
You're the first person to agree with me. I hated it. It was like, what's this experience? Like I have to commute to get here, and then I commute with my own salary. You're not paying for the money for me to get here,
Right. Yeah.
and it's like really annoying. But then it's
Yeah, I'm all about that remote life. Like I do not like going into offices.
luckily like
I
the future
swear.
of the world is remote.
That's what I'm hoping. I feel good about it so far. But yeah, like it just works for me better. I don't know. I'm happier that way, honestly. But I feel that too. It's like I want to go out and see people, but
Yep.
you know, we're not ready for that yet.
Okay, so we're going to like maybe stop, not the whole conversation. This is where we kind of like get fun and maybe shout out to the guest and maybe talk about random things. But from what I've gathered with this talk, it's all about being content with what you have technically and being grateful and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. as a motion designer and as anything, like it's never going to be easy ever, and you're going to feel
Mm,
like shit a lot of times. Like
it's true.
yeah, I just have to endure the pressure, the pain, and the hardships, and just survive it. Definitely learning to do that. To be honest, I don't think I'm getting it right, but I'm really enjoying this YouTube. And I'm trying to avoid social media as much as I can. Social media is an haven for imposter syndrome. Like I see everyone making money, crypto art, and I'm just trying to get like $700 or $600 to get a camera, and it's like, you people, why aren't you noticing me? And social media makes me feel that way
Yeah.
all the time. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to close this app. And
Yeah.
right now, I use social media as a messaging platform. I only use it to send people messages, and I block the timeline and the homepage. I blocked the timeline completely, and I'm happier.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I feel happier, to be honest. But
Yeah.
avoid social media if you want your sanity to be intact. If you don't want to lose your mind, just stay off social media. Maybe tweet a couple of times, but don't stay there all the time. And just be content and know why you're doing your thing. And let's move on to another segment of the show that doesn't exist. I'm just going to call it a segment. Yeah. So like
That's fair.
what's your favorite cartoon of all time?
Oh God. Oh, I don't know. Can it be a movie?
It can be anything.
This is so tough. Okay, I usually answer this question this way. I don't know if it's like my favorite, but like the movie that I saw when I was really little, because it had just come out, that I feel like made me want to be an animator was The Lion King.
I don't know why I'm
Like,
laughing at. I'm sure the Disney reincarnation would have pissed you off a lot.
yeah, I'm not. I didn't watch the new one. I don't know. Maybe it's fine.
I don't think you find
I
it
don't
looked
know.
emotionless. It does. Simba doesn't feel like
Yeah,
Simba. Timon and Pumbaa looks like
yeah.
random guys. They don't feel like emotional like that.
Yeah, they're not like characters. They're just like animal. Like it's technically cool, but that's like what I liked about The Lion King, like the original cartoon that I just feel like I saw when I was a little kid and I was like, this is amazing. Was because it was like so
Mm-hmm.
colorful and like and the character designs were so good. Like there's just something about the way that stuff is drawn in that movie that I was just like, I love this. And like, when I was a kid, I used to draw the like lions
Yeah.
all the time. And I mean, they looked terrible because I was like 4 years old and like can't draw, so whatever. But like
Yep.
I loved that stuff, and I think that's just like it just stuck with me. There was just something about that movie, and I mean I loved all those Disney movies. Like my parents, obviously showed us like all of them on like VHS or whatever. Like we watched a ton of
Man,
them, but that one was just like this is what you want to do. You want to do this, and most studios don't really do that stuff anymore. Like Disney doesn't even make movies like that anymore, but it definitely like it just like spoke to me, I guess. So I haven't watched it in a long time,
I think you should,
but that's like
but don't watch the new version. You'll definitely hate it.
yeah, I don't think I will.
But I think you should watch
I don't think I will.
rewatch it. I think it will be a lot of nostalgia,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I know I saw it. They did like a theatrical re-release, but it was like years ago at this point, like probably like 5 years ago, and that's probably the last time I saw it. And it was really cool, and I was just like, I love this. Like this is so great. Like that movie is so good. It holds up. I just love how they did it. And it was so like foundational for me. So it's usually what I think of first.
nice. I think my favorite cartoon of all time. Surprisingly, I would, as much as I scream about Samurai Jack all the time, it's probably not like favorite of all time, but it's among the list of favorites of all time because I have a list of cartoons that I just really enjoyed when I was younger. And Samurai Jack was one of it. It's closer to the top. Another one
Yeah.
was Megas XLR. And if you were watching Cartoon Network from like 2007, 2010, it was like this after immediately after Samurai Jack is Megas XLR. Is like cartoon is like
I don't
I think you should look it up. It's like
yeah, I
Transformers.
don't know this one. Oh
It's like
yeah.
Transformers,
Okay.
but imagine combining the Boondocks and Transformers into one show. That is what it is. It's like insulting,
Wow.
it's insulting like the public media and insulting the world at that time, and then being fun and being Transformers, and then you have like like really really funny pop culture references. I think I think if you have iTunes, you can buy it, and that's the only way you can get it right now. It's
Yeah.
not on YouTube, not anywhere except iTunes.
That's so wild. Yeah, I never heard of it.
Megas X, have you seen it?
No, I'm like Googling it now. Like, it doesn't look familiar to me at all, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of surprising that I like haven't
Okay, I'm going
seen
to
this before.
just Google Megas XLR. I'm going to just text you the spelling on.
Yeah, I think I found it. It's like kind of like a Gundam thing.
Yeah, so it's like this. There's like this big robot with a car on the top, and car is like where the robot is being controlled from.
That's wild. I can't believe I'd never seen this before.
It was like when Cartoon Network had good cartoons, and now all of Cartoon Network cartoons are just trash, and they're just like, it just feels like the kind of cartoons Cartoon Network have. It feels like a bunch of people in suits and like in a room and deciding that, okay, this is what kids like today, and not realizing that they made better cartoons before and not embracing the old structure. And
Yeah, I don't even know what they have on
they have
anymore. I
a
have no
dumb
idea.
version of Teen Titans. They have dumb versions of, I'm calling all of them dumb because I really hate them. Dumb versions of Powerpuff Girls, dumb versions of Ben 10, dumb versions of all the cartoons you liked,
Wow.
and then new cartoons that are just trash. Except Gumball. I still
so
really like
weird.
Gumball. Gumball is like one of the recent cartoons I was like.
Yeah,
I just love the
I
style.
haven't watched a lot of Gumball. It is really fun. They do like really weird stuff.
And the style is so
And
cool.
like,
The style is like 3D, 2D, like real life and cartoon at once. Then
yeah,
they play with lighting, and it's like so cool. The style is one thing that stands out to me. The fact that you feel like you're in real life and this cartoon can exist in real life. Just so cool.
yeah. It was a cool thing. It's like the first cartoon I've seen in a long time that like did that. And it's a little more common now. Like there's this Netflix show that just came out that's like it's for like pretty young kids, I think, but it's really good called City of Ghosts. But it's like that, like all the backgrounds are like half real life pictures and then like
City of Ghosts. I'm going to add it to my to watch list, even if it's for kids.
yeah, it's like adorable. It's like really cute. And like all the characters are animated.
Oh yeah, it's
but
like a
then-
puppet, but not like a puppet. It's like 3D character animation and real
Yeah.
life. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
and it's so cute, and I love like I never thought about that really, but like taking actual real life photos and then animating, I think that's freaking awesome. And to do with that, like I went on a vacation a year or two ago. Oh, I guess like 2 years ago, definitely not last year. And we were walking through a park, and there were all these like big rocks, like and mossy stuff everywhere. And I was like, it'd be so cool if somebody like filmed all of this stuff and then put little like monsters on it.
Yeah.
I never did that, but I was like, that'd be so cool. And like, that's basically what they're like, just like in a grocery store or like in a house or whatever. And it's like really neat and clever.
I would love to see you experiment with that. I'm not a 2D person, though I'm experimenting with traditional animation because I like traditional animation. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love
It's my favorite.
I love to see like the key, like you know how in After Effects it kind of does it for you, but when you do traditional animation, it's like your After Effects and you're controlling the keyframes and you're making the decisions, and it's like you are in control, and it feels so cool.
Yeah, that's something that's great about animation. I think it gives you that sense of control.
Yeah, it's like you're controlling the narrative, you control the story, you control everything.
Like you are in control here. Like you have all the power.
Yep, and
It's very nice.
yeah. Okay, so this is where I think this stream would have to end because I feel like we've done an hour and it's been a really fun talking to the most happiest motion designer ever, Caitlin
I love
Cashew.
that.
Yep. Like
Hopefully that's true. I don't know.
yeah. Like you sound like you're always excited about it, and I always appreciate that. I wish I can be as excited as you. I am as
I feel
excited
like
as you.
Yeah, I get it. I sense it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for like taking the time to be with us here. This is my last stream for this month, and I'm taking a break from streaming till like the middle of next month, and I'm having just one stream next month with James Ramirez, Fried Pixels,
Oh, sweet.
the awesome guy who did the end sequence of Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse.
one of my favorite things that
Yep.
exists.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
cool.
I love it. I really, really love it. The whole
Yeah.
stream is an excuse for James to teach me how he did the end sequence. It's just an excuse for him to say, okay, this is how you do it, this is how I did it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
I'll
so cool.
definitely check that out.
Yeah. Next month, I'm going to be producing more videos. Like, I'm going to sit down, make videos. I've got a mic. I'm trying to buy a camera. If you want to support my buying camera journey, just buy my book, or you can send me money. I would happily take your money. I'll send you my PayPal. If you want to contribute to buy me camera, I'm like, how many dollars short? I need $700, and I'm like dollars, a few $100 short. So I'll be happy if you guys send me random money. I'll drop my PayPal in the comments there. So you just send me money. I'm just kidding. Buy my book. Is this everybody?
Just buy like 8 copies of the book.
Buy for your
However
friends.
much.
Buy for your friends.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
digital. So like, just I'm going to buy a copy for you, and just like I'm going to set an option for buying multiple copies. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, just worth throwing that in there.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys, for coming to this stream. I hope to see you guys next month, and please don't forget to catch all my videos coming out next month. I plan to like sit down and produce like valuable content for you guys, and sitting down like thinking about the content and thinking about the value it's bringing up, and making sure that every content solves a problem and tells a story and is just valuable and helps your career as a motion designer. So please don't forget to catch that. So I'm so nervous while closing. I can't believe I'm nervous after finishing the update.
Yeah, after you're done, it never goes away.
Yep, it never goes away. Thank you very much, guys. See you sometime soon. Bye.